Well, folks, this is very exciting because I get to introduce the brand new Grand Poobah of EntreLeadership. She is Sarah Sloyan, joining me here in studio, has taken over the VP role as Daniel Tardy has moved into another leadership role, up the ladder, if you will, still very involved in EntreLeadership, but day to day, Sarah is running the shop here and things have never been better, and I'm really excited to welcome you. First time on the old broadcast here.
It is, yes. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're thrilled to have you because I want to talk about a couple things. We were talking earlier about the core values at Ramsey Solutions, something that aren't just ideas on a wall here. These are things that live and breathe and really do guide us.
Right.
And there have been a couple core values that have really been instrumental in your growth here. So I want to talk about those. So the first one is, it sounds violent, but it's really not, and it's really great. And it's the idea of shooting sacred cows. So what does that mean to us at Ramsey Solutions? And then how has that manifested in your role here?
Right. I think that what it means to us is to constantly rethink the way we do things. You know, don't just continue. We as humans, I think, are creatures of habit. And so we have to really, sometimes, we talk about this with machinery, like recalibrate machinery, but we almost have to recalibrate ourselves sometimes and stop and assess, okay, why are we continuing to do it this way? Is it the right way that we're doing things, or do we need to think about that differently? So I would say that's probably my best summary of what we mean.
Do you look for opportunities to shoot those cows, or is it something you have to be
I think sometimes I'm a little too enthusiastic about it, to be honest. I think the team is like, if you could shoot less cows, we have enough beef in the freezer.
It's not sacred. We actually need it.
Yes, we actually like that cow. It's a pet. So yeah, I do look for those opportunities because I think that we can get in this rhythm and get too comfortable. And it's not that what we're doing isn't working. That is, I think, sometimes the misnomer about this is sometimes we're doing something, it's working really well, but maybe it's not the best that it could be. Or maybe we're not, as the leader, looking down the road 5 years and saying, all right, well, this makes sense for today, but is this leading us to where we want to be in 5 years? And as a leader, you're the only one who can do that. You know, there's not other people in the office who are necessarily thinking that same long-term vision.
I love how you defined it, but let's go a little bit deeper here for people that are listening or watching. How do we begin to see, ooh, I think this could be coming, or it is, it snuck up on us, it's a sacred cow. What does that look like? How does the team and leadership act? And then you go, uh-oh, this is a problem.
Well, I think it's never exactly the same each time. So I wish I could give you like a standard scenario that it's like, well, you look for these warning signs and you know you're there. I think this is where sometimes you have to be proactive about it. Sometimes it's obvious, right? Sometimes you're looking at it and you're like, okay, that is a problem coming. You know, I worked on our live event side forever, and, you know, Dave Flatt said, hey, I'm going to be traveling less. We knew in this amount of time Dave was going to be traveling less. We've got to get our act figured out, and these events that are very heavy Dave, we need to sit down and shoot the sacred cow of what's working, but we know is not going to serve us in 3 years. And then sometimes you have to be proactive about it. It's not that there's a fire. There may not even be smoke around a situation. You need to just spend some time thinking about, what are my long-term goals, and is what I'm doing today going to get me to those long-term goals? And a lot of times, if you don't think several years in advance, you're not going to, this is a big ship. You can't just turn it in one day and make that happen. So you've got to carve out that time to do that. And I think that can be hard because we're used to being busy and people need us, and we got to talk about these things, and there's all these tactical things that we have to knock out. So the idea of sitting down and making headspace to think about that, and then to start mapping out, like, okay, well, what does that then mean for year 4 and year 3 and year 2, and then what do I have to do this year? What has to be true to start getting me on that path? So
the other core value that has served you very well is this self-employed mentality. You're such a go-getter, so I'm not really surprised by that. But again, what does that look like at EntreLeadership? What are we looking for when we say, hey, we want you to have a self-employed mentality?
Well, the reality is we've grown, and so we have a lot of people who are in specific KRAs. But if we focus just in our KRA, there's a lot of gaps that we're leaving on the table. I'll give you an easy example. We've got our Master Series event coming up here in the office next week. So if we said, okay, you folks on our team who are just in charge of event production, you are in charge of these 185 folks who are are coming and you need to meet all of their needs, well, we're going to miss things that are needed. Whereas if we take all of our team and say, take off those KRA hats, and if you see something that needs to get done, whether it's for this event or whether it's not an event season and we're just in the day-to-day office, if you observe something that needs to get done, you just take care of it. You act like the owner. If you were the owner walking through the parking lot of your office complex and there was trash on the ground, you would pick it up. You don't go, well, I think I pay somebody who picks up the trash, so I'm just going to leave that there, and surely he will come along and pick that up. So in practical ways, that has served me by just kind of the buck stops here. Owning things, even when it's not necessarily listed out on paper as my KRA. And I think that has served me really well in terms of training my team members. There's a lot of things that I don't stress about because I know they are also thinking in that same mindset. So if there's something that maybe I haven't thought of or I haven't gotten to yet, I have 40 plus other folks who are thinking in that same way and can help me kind of fill that gap.
Yeah, it's really an all hands on deck. It's that everybody's watching, everybody's monitoring. There's not going to be a problem that just goes unsolved because they're like, well, that's not my
It's
KRA.
not my problem, We have these shared goals and we're all working towards that, and we're
Yeah.
thinking about those things.
That's really good. Okay, so culture. I love the culture at Ramsey Solutions as a whole, but I really love the culture over here. Every time I come over here, it's not in our main building, so I've got to drive. I've got to drive for 90 seconds.
Oh, or ride Donald's bus.
Yes, it's so difficult. But when I get here, it really is great from the look, from the feel. I love when I stop by on Monday mornings every once in a while, and I routinely will forget. I'll come over here on Monday morning with something I've got to do, and I'll walk in, and everybody is up from their desk.
The powwow.
The powwow is happening. It's a big, gigantic circle, and the energy's great. And I know we've talked about this, so that's why I'm leading you here. You say that the weekly stand-up on Monday mornings is huge in developing culture. Why?
Yeah, well, I think that there's probably a couple different things we hit in that same meeting that are so vital to the health of our team. One is kind of as simple as communication. We talk about what's going on. Now that we've gotten so large, a lot of times, our dev team is killing it over here in this area, but maybe our sales team doesn't know that they're working on this new exciting project. So it's a cool chance for us just to sit and talk about what are some of the things that we're working on that everyone probably should be in the loop on. And so that's a big piece of that. I also love the celebration aspect.
Yes.
I love fun. It's just in my core DNA. So anytime we get to celebrate folks, of course there's like life events that are happening. People are getting married, having babies. But then also the wins at work. Somebody has broken their new best sales record, or somebody over here just got this incredible feedback from a client on their coaching call. So a chance for all of us to get together and celebrate that. And then I think a third thing is just reminding us of our why. So, we had a guest speaker in the other day, and he was talking about don't lose the poetry of what you do, the work that you do. Well, if I'm, a developer and I'm coding all day, I might forget what is it what am I doing?
Absolutely.
What's the connection to the work? I might get lost in like, all right, I show up at 8, I do this coding, and then I leave at the end of the day. But you almost can lose the poetry of these are people that we get to connect with, and these are the exciting projects that we're working on that will then these people will use it to delegate better so they can go on a vacation with their family or all those kind of things. So I would say those are 3 of the things that just make our stand-ups essential.
I love it. Communication, celebration,
right.
And what was the last one?
Remind them of their why.
The why. There it is. So there you go. You can't say it any better than that. Okay, so this is cool. Before I let you go, we have our EntreLeadership One Day, which is really a signature event. It's the playbook in one day, and we're live streaming this event. Why would somebody participate in this? Because, my goodness, we're practically giving the thing away.
Right.
Why should somebody get engaged with this?
Well, I mean, you're kind of crazy if you don't.
Right.
I mean, it's very easy for us in a day-to-day basis to be stuck in this tactical bubble that we live in. And if you don't break outside of that, and it serves 2 levels, right? For you to start thinking differently, for you to hear that information and go, man, do I need to reassess some of the ways I'm doing that? Or I think also you'll have some things that reconfirm why you're doing things the way you're doing. But then two, why would you not sit down and watch this with your team? I mean, when do you take the time to invest in yourselves as a team and go, gosh, we never sit around and talk about culture. What did you guys think about what Dave said about culture? Or, how would you, if you had to sit down and say how we did it as a team on XYZ, how would you say we're doing? Well, what do you think we could do better there? When do you have those conversations in the day-to-day workplace? You don't. You're so focused on your piece of the puzzle and tactically getting things done or thinking about the next thing. You don't pause and have those conversations. So.
Very good stuff. Well, folks, here's the deal. This is the final opportunity to get in on this if you've been thinking about it. I've been telling you that it is such a great deal. $29. Okay, that's one price, $29, and you can bring everybody you want to bring to it. I mean, why wouldn't you do that? I've told you to bring the mailman, bring your crazy Uncle Larry, whoever you want to bring. It's unbelievable. Here's what you do to get it. You text the phrase E1D discount. E1D discount, no space. E1D discount. Text that to 33444. That's 33444, and everything else from there is academic. Walk you through how to sign up. And we'd love to see you there. I'm going to get to host that event, so it really is a fantastic event. And I got to say, if you ever get to an event or you get here to Franklin, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville, you got to come by and see and meet Sarah Sloyan. She is a ray of sunshine. She's far easier to look at than Daniel Tardy. I mean, we can all say that. And she's a great leader, really, really great lady, doing some awesome work, and really proud of you. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.